Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Gamefromscratch, and remember last year when Unity lit themselves on fire with the runtime fee and you thought, nobody could up this? Adobe, well, they're saying, hold my beer, we'll do our best. So it started last week. Adobe has not had a great week. They did an update to their terms of service. They actually did it several months ago, but the having to agree to it happened last week. So people took a look at those terms of service, and let's just say it was a massive overreach. You were actually granting them a perpetual license to your content and more or less allowing them to train their AI using your Creative Cloud content. Obviously, not the most ideal choice of things, and let's just say when they followed it up and said, oh no, we're not training our Firefly AI off of your content, but we just wanted the right to be able to do so. You know, when it comes to companies that can get away with the trust me bro statement, Adobe is definitely not one of them. So there was a lot of people that actually said, okay, I'm done. I am so sick of Adobe, from the subscriptions to the lack of changes to their moves into generative AI to a variety of other reasons people hate Adobe. There was a lot of people that just basically said, I'm done, I'm out, I'm canceling my subscriptions, and that is going to be relevant in just a second. Now, a bit of a side note, funnily enough, Affinity saw this and actually launched their entire suite of products at a 50% off sale, which I actually find kind of hilarious. But one of the things I found in the comments about canceling with Adobe is actually canceling your Adobe subscription is a gigantic pain in the butt. Well, let's just say Adobe's week just got even worse. What you're looking in front of you, this is a filed lawsuit from the Department of Justice. So the U.S. Department of Justice Civil Division Consumer Protection Branch filing lawsuit against who? Oh, wait, it's Adobe Inc., a corporation, as well as Maninder Swane and David Wahawanani. I butchered those names, but let's just say they're being sued. So the Justice Department is suing Adobe specifically over that scumminess around canceling your subscriptions. Now, I'm not going to go through this document. A lot of it's blacked out, and it's very dry legal speak. But if you want to, you can check this out. Now, ironically enough, this is a PDF, which, yeah, that's a thing. So anyways, we'll use the Verge's summary of exactly what this lawsuit is all about, and it is very interesting. So the U.S. is suing Adobe for deceiving subscriptions that are too hard to cancel. So the Department of Justice, the Justice Department alleges that Adobe hid early cancellation fees and trapped consumers in priceless subscriptions. The U.S. government is suing Adobe for allegedly hiding expensive fees and making it difficult to cancel a subscription. In the complaint filed on Monday, that's what we just looked at, that PDF file, the Department of Justice claimed Adobe has harmed consumers by enrolling them in its default's most lucrative subscription plan without clearly disclosing important plan terms. The lawsuit alleges Adobe hides the terms of its annual paid monthly plan in the fine print and behind optional text boxes and hyperlinks. In doing so, the company fails to properly disclose the early termination fee incurred upon cancellation that can amount to hundreds of dollars, the complaint said. And like I said, in those earlier videos where I talked about people like, I'm out, I'm done, screw Adobe, I'm canceling, there were a lot of comments about being hit with these early cancellation fees. So this is definitely a tangible thing people are being impacted with. So when customers do attempt to cancel, DOJ alleges that Adobe requires them to go through an onerous and complicated cancellation process that involves navigating through multiple web pages and pop-ups. It then allegedly ambushes customers with an early termination fee, which may discourage them from canceling. Customers encountered similar obstacles when attempting to cancel their subscriptions over the phone via live chat, DOJ alleges. A complaint claims subscribers have had their calls or chats either dropped or disconnected, have had to re-explain their reason for calling when they reconnected. Lawsuit alleges that these practices break federal laws designed to protect consumers. Lawsuit also targets, and this is kind of weird, it's specifically targeting a couple of the executives at Adobe. So Maninder Swane and the Senior Vice President of Digital Go-to-Market and Sales, as well as David Wadhwani, the President of company's digital media business. A complaint says both executives directed, controlled, and had the authority to control or participated in the acts and practices of Adobe. Adobe didn't immediately reply to requests for comment. Adobe traps customers into year-long subscription through hidden early termination fees and numerous cancellation hurdles. Sam Levine, director of the FTC's Bureau of Consumer Protection, said in a statement, Americans are tired of companies hiding the ball during subscription sign-up and then putting up roadblocks when they try to cancel. Federal government began looking into Adobe's cancellation practices late last year. In 2012, Adobe went from selling its creative software for lifetime use to charging for monthly or yearly subscriptions to its suite of products, including Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, and others. And I know everybody loved when Adobe went subscription. The company's subscription model has long frustrated creatives who are often forced to stay subscribed to Adobe in order to keep doing their jobs. Earlier this month, Adobe's new terms of service were met with backlash after some interpreted the move as an opportunity to train its AI AI on users' art. Lawsuit speaks to the continued regulatory scrutiny of Adobe. In 2022, Adobe attempted to acquire the product design platform Figma for $20 billion, but abandoned the deal after facing antitrust scrutiny from European regulators. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. So if you really want to get into the weeds of this one, the full document is available here. Again, somewhat ironically in Adobe PDF format. That's kind of showing how important Adobe actually is to the ecosystem out there. And people are just forced to use Adobe. But the thing is, people are also forced to pay these massive penalties when they leave it. Again, it is interesting to see that they've got very specific that acted alone or in concert with others. Swanee formulated, directed, controlled, the authority to control or participated in the acts and practices of Adobe, including acts and practices set forth in this complaint. And then something about him specifically that has been redacted or blacked out. Same thing for the other guy, redacted or blacked out. So it's really weird that they very focused on two specific executives in this actual trial. That's not normally something you see that often. So yeah, this is it. And they're going after the exit and termination fees, the way that they're making people get out of them, the misleading practices behind it. And if you look at the very top, you can see the purpose behind this is complaint for permanent injunction, monetary judgment, civil penalty judgment, and other relief. And they're a demand for a jury trial here as well. So, more or less, the U.S. government is suing Adobe for their scummy business practices in a week in which Adobe has, let's just say, they've been taking a few kicks to the mouth. So yeah, it's kind of Unity all over again. When the fire starts, they seem to spread. I imagine this is unrelated. This happened well in advance. Again, they said that this was being under consideration for a little while now, but it'll be interesting to see how this turns out. And I know there's a lot of customers out there that have to use Adobe products, but absolutely despise Adobe. And I don't think there's a lot of people out there that are going, "Oh, poor Adobe." I think most people are seeing this kind of thing and cheering from the sidelines. But what are you? Are you one of those people that likes to see Adobe get their comeuppance, or do you think that the government should butt out? Let me know. Comments down below. Talk to you all later, and goodbye.